Coming up next on YCU News, President Barack Obama may meet with Congress today and reopen the federal government. New Hampshire is expected to receive funds for disaster relief in order to fix this summer's rain damage. And a Swansea teen is killed after swerving his car off Gilsum Mine Road. For more news, weather, and sports, it's time for YCU, your local view.
Now, your daily digest of the Dartmouth-Lake Sunapee region and central Vermont. News, sports, weather, public affairs, and all that's happening in our area. The news on YCU, your local view.
Good evening. I'm Rose Spillman. Thank you for joining us for this Wednesday edition of YCU News. President Barack Obama wants to meet with congressional leaders later today, a step that could lead to a reopening of the federal government. Members of the New Hampshire and Vermont congressional delegation are urging colleagues to return to the work of governing the country. Vermont Independent Senator Bernie Sanders compares the shutdown to a hostage crisis. If the right-wing faction of the Republican Party, the Tea Party, and its outspoken members from Texas, Ted Cruz, can hold up the federal government over enacting the Affordable Care Act, what could happen with future debates about Medicaid or Social Security funding? Sanders asks. All federal parks are closed now for the second day. Sanders is co-sponsoring a bill that would award back pay to federal workers who are not being paid during the shutdown. Government workers in every state may have time off, yet they are doing so without benefit of a paycheck. 800,000 federal workers are on furlough. In Vermont, 450 employees of the Vermont National Guard are on furlough or unpaid time off. These 450 Vermont employees represent about half of the Army and Air Guard's full-time workforce, says Sanders. On a state and national safety note, National Guard drills scheduled will not be held or must be postponed until the shutdown is over. According to the Vermont Department of Labor, Sanders writes in a statement, 5,000 federal employees work in Vermont. This does not include postal workers who are still at work. There are about 1,700 Vermont postal employees. Sanders' retroactive pay legislation is identical to the bill that allowed federal workers to be paid after the last U.S. government shutdown in 1995 and 1996. Democratic President Bill Clinton was in office. Then Speaker of the House Republican Newt Gingrich led those shutdowns, reports Sanders. On Monday, U.S. Senators Democratic Jeanne Shaheen and Republican Kelly Ayotte, along with Democratic Congresswoman Ann McLean Custer and Carol Shea Porter, reported $1.8 million in disaster relief is coming to the state. 3 state counties, Sullivan, Grafton, and Cheshire, will benefit from the money. That's because the money will be used by the State Department of Transportation to repair roads and highway damaged during late June and early July heavy rainstorms. The 4 legislators agree the money is critical to these counties' rebuilding efforts. Plans for a possible gun range in part of the Newport, New Hampshire landfill can move forward. There was no opposition at the Monday night Newport Conservation Commission meeting to development of the land. Sturm Ruger will have first options, said Town Manager Paul Brown. Claremont officials will be notified throughout the process as land development could affect the city, Brown said. A 17-year-old Swansea teen is dead after the car he drove went off Gilsum Mine Road Monday afternoon, rolled over, and crashed into a large rock. New Hampshire State Police say speed was a factor in the 2:47 p.m. crash that killed Jacob Nash of Swansea. Nash failed to negotiate a right curve on that road. The car veered to the left and hit the rocks. Nash died in the crash. Police found him unresponsive when they arrived. Nash's passenger, 18-year-old Hayden Wilmot, survived the rollover crash with minor injuries. The 1995 Subaru Impreza Nash drove flipped over multiple times, police say. Neither Nash nor Wilmot were wearing seatbelts. The crash remains under investigation by state police. The Alstead Fire Department worked with state police at the crash site. Now we have the YCU weather forecast for the Connecticut River Valley and Lake Sunapee region. Tomorrow will be mostly sunny with a high of 74 degrees and lows around 51. Friday will be cloudy with highs in the upper 70s and a low of 54 degrees. Saturday we have a high of 69 with low temperatures in the 50s. Sunday we have temperatures in the low 70s during the afternoon and cooling off to the upper 50s in the evening. If you're looking for something fun to do this weekend, stop by the Musterfield Farm in North Sutton, New Hampshire this Saturday for their Harvest Day from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. I'm Rose Spillman for YCU, your local view. Good night.